President Donald Trump, you are absolutely correct. All hell is about to break loose. But where you and my white evangelical conservative Republican Christian Trump-loving family members don't understand is that breaking loose of all hell is going to be on you. Because see, according to Luke 21:24, the time of us Gentiles is up. Yes, it is, because it says at one point Jerusalem would be trodden and the inhabitants of that would be taken as prisoners or slaves across the world, including the United States. And our black brothers and sisters, whose ancestors are the true Hebrews, would remain slaves across the globe and in the United States until the time of us Gentiles is up. Family, this is your brother Dana, and I'm coming to you from that place in one love. I've said it over and over to you, my white evangelical conservative Republican Christian Trump-loving family members, that contrary to what President Donald Trump is saying to you and promising you, you are not about to enter your golden ages. I'll say that again. You are not about to enter your golden ages, because you are entering your season of reaping what our forefathers in this nation have sown for over 400 years. Because see, there's a promise in Revelations chapter 13 verse 10 when it says that he that kills with the sword, or in this case, white family, the gun, must then die by that gun. See, even Jesus himself warns you, white family, in Matthew chapter 26 verse 52, when he said, those who live by the gun will die by the gun. I only want you to know this so you're not going to be shocked. You won't have to be in fear, because you'll understand why your children are no longer safe in school, why you're no longer safe in stores, why your leaders are no longer safe. Because you, my white family, are about to get the promise of Revelations chapter 13:10. That when you have lived by this gun, you slaughtered the natives that lived here. You used it to enslave our black brothers and sisters. And therefore it is time that it is for you to reap what we have sown. So contrary to what President Donald Trump has spoken to you, that you're entering your golden ages, I want you to know that in fact you are entering your last ages. See, Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 2 says, the fathers have eaten those sour grapes. They've lived that evil and passed it on to now the children, suffering for the consequences of it. Unless, of course, you believe that the God of the Bible has ordained you as my white family to never reap the consequences of your evil behavior. But contrary to your belief, I know that there is a God that is coming back to make things right, to bring justice. Justice for the indigenous, justice for our black brothers.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from whatever you're watching us from. As you know, I'm your host and present Dog Stories. Now, understand that the concept that black people represent the chosen ones in the biblical prophecy primarily draws from interpretation within Hebrew Israelite teachings and related movements. Understand that these views posits that descendants of transatlantic slave trade, particularly African American and broader African diaspora communities, fulfill the role of ancient Israel's scattered tribes. Now, as God elect people who entered into a covenant, but faced severe consequences for disobedience. Understand that this perspective centers heavily on Deuteronomy 28, where blessings for obedience and curses for disobedience are outlined to the Israelites, seen by proponents as prophetic blueprint matching the historical experiences of black people. We all have to agree that there is a correlation between black Americans and the prophecies that were given to the chosen people, right? That's the descendants of Abraham. How God, the promises that God, gave to all these people about these issues, right? So, brothers and sisters, there are so many things that God Himself promised to the black Americans. One is the salvaging black people from the hands of the oppressor, right? God Himself promised people, and He promised His people, His chosen people, that will salvage them from the captives. Symbolically, this might mean a lot of things. Right now, we're seeing the United States crumbling down. We're seeing the United States falling. And now people have a chance to see the United States for what it is. And now all white people, quotes and quotes, the Gentiles, are getting to see all these things true. But what did God say about all these Gentiles? Brothers and sisters, I want you to watch this video. I'll be back, and then we'll be talking about all these concepts. As you know, I'm your host and present Dog Stories. But until then, let me see you at the end of it all. I'll be back with my commentary in regards to this. So let's watch the video.
And sisters, actually, who are the true chosen people of the Most High Yah God. And so to you, my white family, I must say again, you are not entering your golden ages. But in fact, you are entering an age where you will understand what it means to live in constant fear, and you will understand the pain of losing your life or the life of loved ones due to the gun, because you are reaping what we have sown for over 400 years. It's a big pill to swallow, but you're going to swallow. This is your brother Dana, and I'm coming to you from that place in one.
Who are the Gentiles? Let's talk about it. After this video, everybody's going to know if you're a Gentile or you're not a Gentile. So let's start with Psalms chapter 83. And you guys need to pay attention, because I'm going to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you. Psalms 83, starting at verse number 3. And it goes, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, right? And consulted against thy hidden ones. Verse 4, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. The name of Kobe may be no more in remembrance. I think that sounds familiar. There's a group of people who don't have a name, who are pushed out of society. And those people are the chosen people. And everybody else in the world, doesn't matter which nation you come from, if you don't come from Sub-Sahara, you are a Gentile.
I heard President Donald Trump say today that if Hamas does not release the hostages by 12 o'clock this Saturday, all hell is about to break loose. Well, President Donald Trump, you are absolutely correct. All hell is about to break loose. But where you and my white evangelical conservative Republican Christian Trump-loving family members don't understand is that breaking loose of all hell is going to be on you. Because, see, according to Luke 21:24, the time of us Gentiles is up. Yes, it is. Because it says at one point Jerusalem would be trodden, and the inhabitants of that would be taken as prisoners or slaves across the world, including the United States. And our black brothers and sisters, whose ancestors are the true Hebrews, would remain slaves across the globe and in the United States until the time of us Gentiles is up. And that time is up. It also says in that scripture that those who are currently in Jerusalem who trampled it down are also Gentiles. And it is time now that the Most High Yah is coming back to get his true chosen people, our black brothers and sisters, to give them all rightfully their land. And so what is really in store for you, my white, evangelical, conservative, Republican, Christian, Trump-loving family members? You can look in Exodus, what was left of Egypt after the Most High God got done with the Egyptians. Or we can look at Revelation chapter 18, starting at verse 6, where it says that the Most High God is going to give you what you have given out for 400 plus years. In fact, he's going to give you from your own cup of evil double the portion. He says that as much luxury and how much glory you gave yourself is now going to be turned into torment and grief and misery. So yes, President Donald Trump is correct when he says that all hell is about to break loose. But the detail you need to know is that when all hell breaks loose, it's going to be on you. Because the time of us Gentiles is up. And family, there is no military, there is no rocket, no president, no government, and no other God that will be able to keep the Most High God from coming back to redeem and to set free his precious chosen children, our, who we call, black brothers and sisters. I wanted to reiterate the truth to you again tonight, as the words from your president will come true, but not the way you think. This is your brother Dana, speaking truth regardless, and still coming from a place in one love.
Oh, my. What y'all think? Tell it in the comments. I love y'all. Bye.
This is the Bible unlocked. The Gentiles cut off. Romans 11 verse 13. For I speak to you Gentiles, and as much as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify mine office. Paul is speaking to the Gentiles in this chapter. Gentile meaning someone from a non-Israelite heritage. So Paul says, I'm speaking to you Gentiles right now as he's going on in this epistle. Romans 11 verse 18. Boast not against the branches. Paul says to the Gentiles, you natural Gentiles, boast not against the branches. Don't get lifted up with pride against the natural branches. But if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Because the children of Israel didn't come into your covenant. You came into the children of Israel's covenant. The covenant was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Israel, not to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the Gentile nations. You coming into our tree, we're not coming into your tree. So he says, boast not against the natural branches. Don't get lifted up with pride, like a lot of you out there have done. Thou will say then, this is Paul about to give one of the realest prophecies in his epistles. Thou will say then, watch what he says that the Gentiles were going to say, and watch how it has been fulfilled in today's modern Christian church. The branches were broken off. The children of Israel were done away with, because that's who the branches are referring to in this chapter. The branches referring to the 12 tribes of Israel. The branches were broken off. The 12 tribes of Israel were done away, that I might be grafted in. So God can bring in me and the rest of my Gentile familia. Exactly what has happened. Now today, you don't even know who the children of Israel are. No one even talks about these people in the church. This is who the book is. The whole entire book is referencing these people, and nobody even knows who they are. Because the Gentiles have boasted against the natural branches. You've boasted against the natural branches. This is what Paul told you not to do. You always hear people leaving comments about the nation, the children of Israel were cut off. Now God engrafted in the Gentiles, and we're all God's people, and there's no more Jew or Greek. Just totally boasting against the natural branches. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off. And thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear. Be not high-minded, but fear. You're supposed to be fearful and trembling with your position in regards to the Most High. Because he chopped off the natural branches, you're supposed to come into the fold and be fearful and be on your P's and Q's. Did the Gentiles do that? Absolutely not. They got high-minded and lifted up. You can see it all in the Christian doctrine today, or you can look at the comments that's going to be left by Gentiles in this video, and you can see the people are high-minded. For if God spared not the natural branches, for if God cut off the children of Israel from their own olive tree, if God did this to his own people, take heed lest he also spare not thee. You better beware that the Most High will cut you off even faster than he did his own people. And that's what you're going to find out in this message. You're supposed to beware lest the Most High cut you off as well. And boasting against the natural branches is one of the ways that's going to get most of you Gentiles cut off. Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of God on them which fail, severity. On them, who's the them? It's talking about the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel that fell. Severity. That's what happened on us, the 12 tribes of Israel. Slavery, oppression, poverty. This is the severity that the Most High put on the children of Israel because we were in unbelief and didn't keep his commandments and wanted to follow the Gentile nations and do the customs of those of you people. But towards thee, goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. But towards thee, you Gentiles, if. See, here's the stipulation that they're not going to teach you in the churches. If you continue in his goodness. See, the Most High is dealing with conditional love and conditional covenants and a conditional agreement. If you continue in his goodness. That was the stipulation that the Most High gave through the Spirit, that Paul gave through the Spirit of the Most High to give to the Gentiles. He says you will be in his, you won't be cut off if you continued in his goodness. Now, did the Gentiles continue in his goodness? You were supposed to take the gospel in the authentic form and go and spread it throughout the world. While the children of Israel, while we fell and we served our captivity and our punishment, you were supposed to be taking the correct doctrine and spreading it throughout the four corners of the earth until we came to the fullness of our punishment and came back as the rulers of the earth. That's what the Gentiles were supposed to do. But instead, what'd you do? You took the customs of your forefathers, paganism, and you amalgamated it with the Bible. Then you went with war, conquering different countries and pushing the Roman Catholic doctrine on people that you've enslaved. That's what the Gentiles did. So are you following or continuing in his goodness? Absolutely not. That's why Paul says this. Otherwise, thou also shalt be cut off. And that's what you're going to find out is going to happen to the Gentiles.
With this no-shoes policy, we anticipate that Americans and travelers and those coming into our country will be very excited that they will no longer have to remove their shoes. The one thing that I will say is that doesn't mean that there won't be times once in a while where someone will have to remove their shoes. If they get put into a different situation or need additional layers of screening where that may be asked of them. But overwhelmingly, the policy will be that no longer will that be required of every single person that comes to a checkpoint. The golden age of America is here. We're so excited that we can make the experience for those individuals traveling throughout our airports in the United States much more hospitable, more efficient for them, more timely, and that they can get to their destinations and spend much more time with their loved ones and with their families and with those accomplishing great things for their future.
So what's really central to this argument? Because we are seeing this happening in real time, and I want to talk about this. There are so many contemporary things that prove indeed that Black people has a connection as the God's chosen people, and we have all seen this. We have seen the resilience in the Black community. We have seen the suffering in the Black community. But all of these, all they have come through it because God himself is protecting his own people. Now, central to this argument is the claim that the curses in Deuteronomy, that's 28:15-68, describes a unique pattern of affliction that aligns precisely with the transatlantic slave trade and its aftermath. For instance, verses describing scattering among nations, serving foreign gods of wood and stone, and enduring oppression without relief are interpreted as foretelling that forced dispersal of African across the Americas and beyond. So proponents argue that no other group in history has collectively endured such a comprehensive, multi-generational set of these described calamities, positioning Black people as the true heirs of Israel's covenant identity. I hope that sinks, right? And also another part is that there is also a key verse often highlighting Deuteronomy 28:68, which speaks of the people being brought back to Egypt in ships to be sold as slaves with no buyer. Interpreters in this tradition view Egypt symbolically as a state of bondage rather than a literal ancient nation, equating the ships to the Middle Passage vessels that transported millions of Africans. The detailing of being offered for sale yet facing dehumanization without full redemption is seen as mirroring in chattel slavery system. And chattel slavery system where enslaved people were commodities but denied true freedom or restoration for centuries. There are also further connections which are drawn to curses involving iron yokes around the neck. Deuteronomy 28:48, interpreted as the iron collars and chains used on enslaved Africans during capture, transport, and plantation labor. The prophecy of lacking food, clothing, and water while trolling under harsh taskmakers is linked to the brutal conditions on plantations, where basic needs were withheld as punishments. Proponents emphasize that these specifics, that's yokes of iron, perpetual servitude, and economic exploitation, fit the lived reality of Black enslavement more closely than any other historical group's experiences. You go and tell me, why are you seeing all these similarities? Just tell me. If you find a similarity somewhere outside the Black Americans, then let me know, because all this fits the prophecy that was told. Now, the scattering among all people, that's Deuteronomy 28:64-65, and serving unfamiliar gods is tied to the diaspora experiences, where Africans were stripped of their names, their languages, and spiritual traditions, then forced into Christianity or other imposed religions. The loss of identity, renamed with derogatory terms or European ones, is seen as fulfilling the curse of having one's name taken away and replaced. The resulting psychological torment, constant dread, no rest for body or soul, and madness from oppression mirrors description of generational trauma, systemic racism, and mental health struggles in the Black communities post-slavery. Right? So, again, tell me if you're not seeing any similarity between what I'm trying to tell you, because honestly, you can see the similarities in everything that we are talking about, right? Post-slave trauma, that happened to black people, that is still happening to black people, the mental health issues that we are seeing in the black community even today, those are the devastating effects of slavery that are still in the black community. So brothers and sisters, I really don't know what you think and feel about this. So proponents also point to economic inversion cases, where foreigners rise above the caste people while they sink lower. That's Deuteronomy 28:43-44. This is applied to how immigrant groups or dominant populations have often economically surpassed black communities in places like the Americas, with black people historically denied land ownership, fair wages, and generational wealth building opportunities. The idea that the chosen will be a tail instead of the head underscores a reversal of a promised blessings, seen as evident in persistent disparities despite contribution to global culture, to labor, and innovation that black people have oftentimes introduced to all these groups of people. Now, in this framework, black people are viewed as the fulfillment of the lost tribes, or specifically the tribe of Judah and related groups, scattered after ancient rebellions against God's law. The severity and duration of suffering spanning over 400 years from capture to ongoing systemic issues. All these are represented as evidence of divine chastisement on a chosen nation, not a random misfortune or inherent inferiority. So this suffering, proponents argue serves a redemptive purpose, much like Israel's historical exiles, leading towards eventual restoration when obedience returns. And understand that this interpretation reframes black history not as a curse without hope, but as a prophetic confirmation of chosen status. Just as ancient Israel faced exile, yet retained promises of regathering and elevation, that's Deuteronomy 30, black people are positioned as those destined for spiritual awakening, identity reclamation, and divine favor. Once the covenant is renewed, this view empowers a narrative of divine election amid adversity. Contrast sharply with historical misuse of scripture, like the curse of Ham, to justify oppression. And instead, all this asserts that the very trials prove the profound biblical significance of black descendants as God's enduring chosen ones. So please, let me know what you think about this, right? As you know, I'm your host and pre-Vintage Stories, and if you're watching me for the first time, I'm just asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get what I can offer you. But until then, I'm hoping that you are great from wherever you're watching me from. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.